Okay, we're rolling. Go ahead, whenever
All
you're
right,
ready.
welcome back to Paranormal Connections. And now I am with these three beautiful girls, and we're having a little bit of talk. Why don't you introduce yourself and what group you're from?
I am Sierra. I'm the president of the Paranormal Research Society at UCO.
All right.
And I'm Monica. I'm actually the secretary of the Paranormal Research Society. Go UCR!
All right.
And I'm Christina. I'm the treasurer of the Paranormal Research Society.
Great. Now, is it just you three girls, or do you have a bigger team? Or
Bigger team. We have 60 members.
60 members.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, yeah, in my groups I've got close to 600 now. So
Oh,
wow. Because I have two separate groups. So yeah, I get that. But how many actually of your core members like actually go out with you and investigate each investigation?
Probably 15.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
We have a whole, it's a club that we meet every week on campus at University of California, Riverside. And we have requirements that we have a recorder that goes up to when they're able to investigate, like certain tabling hours, getting our word out there during Wednesdays at school, which is kind of like a big event for everyone. All the clubs on campus come out and promote themselves. So they have requirements for investigation.
Well, that's actually awesome because we do too, because you just don't want to bring anybody out there.
Yeah.
And this stuff is really important, and especially like, do you guys just do locations or do you actually take on like private cases?
We want to take on private cases, but right now we've only been able to do locations, paying them instead of, and we are nonprofit though, so.
And everything that we basically do is funded by our school, so our school helps us a lot.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Because
so
it is not cheap for
yeah,
sure.
so when it comes to like paying for security, the school funds us with that. So we're moving on slowly to like private investigations, which is something we really want to do soon.
But you know what? It's really important, and I'll tell you because I've been doing this for 10 years. It is important to start out where you're just doing locations.
Yeah.
Because once you go into actual private client's home, they're having so many different kinds of activity that come up. And if you really don't know what you're doing, you can cause more harm than you can good. And I mean, I've had it because I've had to, I've had clients that have had 2 or 3 groups come, and it's just made it worse. So they've asked me to come and consult, and since I'm psyched, I can go in and I can figure out what's there and not without any equipment, but obviously I'm a research society, so I also use it. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people do some real harm just because, they have the good intentions. They're really wanting to go out and help. They just don't have enough experience to really know that. So where do you guys get your training from?
I've actually been just obsessed since I was little. My half my family's British, so we're very superstitious and stuff like that. They've always told me, don't go there because the ghost is there, or
right.
Stuff like that. So I've just grown up, and I've my research really of how I got all my knowledge is watching many documentaries, YouTube, having my dad take me to a local electronics store so I can try to figure out how to make
That's
stuff.
important. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Stuff like that. And I basically, kind of taught you guys some stuff too.
Good.
Yeah.
And so what brought you into it? Like, what's your personal experience? Because everybody I find, it doesn't matter. If you're in doing this, because it is, on our own dime, then there's a reason. There's a specific reason that brought you here. So what's yours?
I kind of latched onto her for a little bit, but I think for me, it was mostly because I was so religious. I mean, I still am, but it's kind of like I like to see the two sides of things. So it's like, I mean, I know it exists, but I want to see it for myself.
Well, I understand. I grew up Catholic, and so of course, it's like what they were teaching me and what I was experiencing, and what was crazy is when I was real young, here I'm seeing all these spirits, and like it went from being all fun and they were my friends to when I got my teen years, it changed and it got really dark. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I like this. So of course, when you're Catholic, if there's anything big that's going on, where do you go? We go to your priest, right? So I went to the priest thinking, he's finally going to give me answers. Well, first I went to my mom, and then she's like, all right, you need to go to a psychiatrist. And she's ready to dial. And I'm like, the guy's telling me, you just need some meds. And I'm like, oh no, okay, it's not here. So I'm like, okay, next thing, priest. So I go to the priest, and he's like, never, ever speak of that in here again. and if you do, you'll be excommunicated. And I thought, okay, that's a problem even more so.
Yeah.
But now it's making me question even more. Everything that I've grown up, believing, it really started making me question. And since I could literally see them and I knew they were there, it's like, okay, something is going on. So it was kind of my passion. I ended up kind of doing it. So do you have a personal experience?
I haven't had any like personal experiences, but I really hope that I do get actually find like a crystal.
I kind of get from you that you're kind of more of the skeptic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That you're really wanting to, hope that you'll be able to, get that proof, but you're just kind of like, yeah, we'll see. I believe it, but I'm just gonna stick around until I see it.
Yeah,
so that's kind of good to get from you. All right, good girls. So, where are different locations that you've gone so far?
Our main one, we actually started off doing locations on UCR's campus.
I was gonna say, your guys' campus, I've been there, so you got a lot of stuff going on there, yeah.
Have you been in Rivera Library?
Yes, I've been in a few places there and a few of the dorms too, which there's been quite a few, kids that have died or committed suicide or different things there, and it is, when I was going to college, I went to UCLA, so we came over to Riverside for some thing that they had over there, and I was walking through the dorms, my girlfriend's dorm, and I'm like, oh, wow, and I'm like, okay, I don't see this,
Shadowing.
Right? I'm like, oh man. So so that's a great place. I mean, there's just so much over there. So outside of the school, you guys done some locations?
We're trying to do the Fox Theater in Redlands.
Okay.
We have done the Orange Groves on Van Buren and where in the 1980s a man murdered a girl walking in high school. We actually got EVPs from there. Some quite awesome evidence from there.
We've tried cemeteries.
Yeah.
We've tried some just to see, just out of curiosity.
Cemeteries is good, when you're learning. If you want to get something, it's like, okay, you go to the cemetery. That's what I say. It's like, okay, well, you might. And once you're doing things the cemetery is no fun anymore after you've experienced it, because you expect to get something there. So
that's basically where we take our members, just so they can do whatever they want there.
That's what we do training, and that's exactly what we do, and let them walk around and see what they pick up on and things like that. So do you girls have any? You don't have any psychics in your group at this point?
We want some so bad. so
bad.
Have
you guys? Have you done anything to try to facilitate that, or?
We've kind of told our members, if you guys know anyone, let us know. But we are probably going to put out an ad of sorts.
I know it sounds kind of strange, looking for a psychic, and the paranormal, you're not too weird and everything else, but it is a good way. So I do want to say to all of my listeners, so if you are in college or around their age, because I'm sure you guys want in there, and you're interested in being a paranormal investigator and you do have a gift, that means whether you're a sensitive or a full-blown psychic or an empath, any of those abilities, get a hold of these girls, because they're, as you heard, they're needing somebody, they're looking for somebody. If I was closer, I'd bring some of my girls, but we're a little farther away. So where do you hope to be in a year?
We're actually starting a project that we're going to start almost like a paranormalpedia, a Wikipedia for the paranormal, that we're going to kind of test very simple notions on the paranormal, what really is a spirit.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was one of the questions that I've been asking, everybody. What do you think is a ghost, and what's your perception of it? So you get some really good things.
And how can we test, obviously with paranormal equipment, Melvin or whatever, but what really is it? And we're taking anthropology, sociology, psychology, history, physics. All these types of majors in our college, and we're actually just testing it in every single department. Yeah.
Very smart.
And seeing what they have to offer to us. We'll contact our TAs and be like, can you come be a guest speaker at our club, because we need their input, they're not much older than us, but they have a lot of knowledge that we don't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we can get everybody's knowledge together, what better than to learn like that.
So I would take it that you guys are about paranormal unity then, right?
Yes.
Because
No
that is something
competition.
that is something that's really getting to be a point where now that you got all the groups popping up everywhere and everybody wants to take center stage, and it's very unsettling to me because there is so much information and all these groups that have now popped up everywhere. Not that all of them are getting good evidence, but the ones that are, I mean, sharing that information, like that's how we learn, that's how we grow. And if everybody's, going and they want to keep all their stuff secret, and then, I want to keep it all to myself because this is going to make me a superstar one day, I'm going to have my own show. There's not too many. I mean, you look at how many investigative groups there are and how many shows there actually are, and they run their little course and it's done, and then they move on to the next. So, it is something. So I'm glad to see, especially young girls that are in the paranormal, that understand that, because it seems like the younger they get, the more catty they get. So it's nice to see girls that are level-headed and have this on your belt. So one other thing I want to ask you guys before, if you could have any ability, what would it be that you would like to have? We'll start with you.
I would probably, tell you the truth, I would love to be psychic. I would. I really would. I've always just wondered what's that like.
Now you realize that everybody is psychic.
Yeah.
Everybody does. And a lot of times you'll feel like a deja vu, or you'll walk into something and you're like, ooh, I just get a really bad feeling. Everybody has it. It's just you're not connected with it. And that's why I mentor girls, is for that reason. And once they really connect and understand it, and they start paying attention, it just kind of goes out the roof. So maybe that's something you need to look into.
Because my great grandma was actually saying.
Well, you have the ability, honey. Pass down.
Oh, good.
You're just not connected with it.
Yeah.
All right, honey, what about you? What about you?
I'd like to have a psychic ability as well. I mean, for me personally, it's something that I'm just so overwhelmed by everything that I'm just like, I want to know.
Well, say a ghost pops up, and they're not always look just like us, I mean, I've seen them look pretty horrific, and somebody just popped up, they're like, hey, you want to see me? Here I am. Do you think you'd be like super freaked out by that?
Maybe, but I think I want to talk to her.
She's still up for it. She's like, I'll be scared, but I'll do it. I really want this. How about you?
I think it would be kind of like, like if you walk down the street, it's like how sometimes say you see a person, but you don't know if it's actually like a person.
Mm-hmm.
It might be actually like, a spirit. Or
Absolutely.
I think I'd like to be able to know and
you want to be able to see it. You just don't have to be able to communicate all that with them, right? You just kind of see them from afar.
Yeah.
All right, girls. So if anybody wants to contact you, or they're interested and they've got abilities, they want to contact you and be part of your team, can you guys got Facebook or website and give that information out?
Yes, we have both. It's prs@ucr@gmail.com is our email, and our Facebook is facebook.com/prs@ucr.
All right, great. And then I'll actually get the information, and once again, with all my guests, I'll be linking, I'll put their links to their pages and websites up on my page so you can check them out. So if you have anybody out there, somebody, you're the psychic, give these girls a call. They really need, this will be a great thing for their team, and I think that they would really enjoy and grow. So all right, everybody, that's our next segment, and thank you so much. Thank you, girls.
Thank you.